Just when you think it couldn't get any worse for the New York Mets, it's a sweep in Pittsburgh at the hands of the Pittsburgh Pirates, where things got really ugly. Let's talk about it. All right, Mets fans, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CP. The New York Mets are in free fall as they have lost 13 of their last 16 games. And we are talking about the sweep that we just witnessed to the Pittsburgh Pirates, where the Mets were outscored 30-4 across three brutal games. Of course, I was there live for those performances on both Friday and Saturday night. I didn't make the Sunday game, and I'm very thankful I didn't make the decision to go to the Sunday game. It was brutal. But before we get into this, as always, please do smash those thumbs up buttons, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts and opinions about the state of this New York Mets team. Now, before we get into the ugly performance of this series, I will say the highlight of the weekend was getting to travel to a new city. First time I've ever been to Pittsburgh before. What a lovely city it is, and see what a beautiful venue and ballpark PNC Park really is. You always hear about it from the people that have went and have gotten to experience it, and I was very thankful to have experienced it in person finally myself, as well as meeting up with some fellow Mets content creators, Amish Country Mets fan Nelson, and also my co-host on the Amazing Mets pregame shows, postgame shows, Rob. The first time we were ever able to meet in person, it was really good getting to go to some of the pregame festivities around the ballpark. It was just absolutely lovely. It was a good time. But what was not a good time was getting to actually watch the games and watching this baseball team try to put on a performance, because this was ugly. This was really ugly. And there were so many opportunities offensively for the Mets to take advantage, and especially the first and second games. I watched a team that went 2 for 22 over the entirety of this weekend with runners in scoring position, and it was absolutely brutal. And nothing went right in this series for the New York Mets. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this video about this topic of what this sweep was. We know what it was. It was a couple of bad decisions. I think it was a bad decision to let Paul Blackburn go back out there on Saturday after a rain delay. The Mets stated that they would have not let him go back if the delay lasted 5 more minutes than it actually did. They set the deadline at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the game resumed at 6 o'clock. What do those 5 minutes make a difference? I have no idea, but especially the fact that we don't trust, or we shouldn't trust, Paul Blackburn at this point, given what he's shown us this season. They let him go back out there, 5 straight hits, 3 straight runs, and it was brutal. That was the only time going into that rain delay that the Mets had a lead in this series, and it was all for naught. And really, again, just all up and down the board, pitching wise, especially the starters. Paul Blackburn, after the rain delay, getting absolutely hammered. He couldn't get anything going. David Peterson, now back to back starts in a row where David Peterson, who's been having a really good season, is getting smacked around. That was a horrible performance by David Peterson. And I'm not going to say that the Pittsburgh Pirates aren't a good, talented baseball team. They have some talent, they have some youthful talent, I should say. But this is not a team you should be losing a series to. This is not a team you should be getting swept by, and this is not a team that you should be getting outscored by a margin of 30-4. That is embarrassing. And then you top it all off. The cherry on top was Frankie Montas going out there in his second start of the season and pulling a 180 versus his first start of the season against the Atlanta Braves when he went 5 scoreless innings. He actually gives up 5 runs in the first inning. I don't know what is going on with this Mets pitching. I understand Kodai Senga went down. I understand Griffin Canning is now lost to a season-ending injury. But the guys in this rotation, the mainstays already, I'm looking at David Peterson primarily. I don't have much expectations for Paul Blackburn. I have a little bit more expectations for Frankie Montas than Paul Blackburn, but still, the expectations aren't really much. Right now, Clay Holmes is the most dependable starter as of recent, and we'll see him in this first game in the upcoming Brewers series, which I'll talk about here just briefly because newsflash, that's a very hot team, winning 8 of their last 10 games coming into Citi Field when the Mets have lost 13 of their last 16. So what a brutal series it was in Pittsburgh. Carlos Mendoza, I mean, I know he usually doesn't get thrown out of ball games, arguing balls and strikes in that middle game, gets tossed. Would think that that could energize the players a little bit. Nope, doesn't. Okay, let's hold a players only team meeting after we just lost 9-2 against the Pittsburgh Pirates in game 2 in hopes of trying to salvage the series and get something going. Nope, they go out there and lose 12-1. The coaching staff, primarily offensively, given the offensive struggles all year long with some of these players. It seems like these players really love Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes and the tools that they are given, the advice that they're given. So, how does it transfer to on field performance? Because somebody has to get held accountable. Somebody has to get held accountable, whether it's the coaches or the players. And right now, no combination of the coaches or players are inspiring any confidence from this fan base. And to top things off in that category, the reports are from Andy Martino that David Stearns and the New York Mets front office fully believe in this coaching staff even still. So don't expect any changes at this point of the season with the coaching staff. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. There were not many positives that came out of that series that I could grasp onto and say, whoa, this is the silver lining going forward. Not much of that going on. And then after this series, we wake up on the off day, this lovely off day, where we get a break from watching losing baseball. And hopefully the players are recuperated, rejuvenated by the time tomorrow rolls around in a fresh series. We hope. But the Mets owner, Steve Cohen, comes out and makes this statement right here. Quote unquote from Steve Cohen, tough stretch, no sugarcoating it. I didn't see this coming. Did anybody see this coming? I didn't see this coming. I'm as frustrated as everybody else. We will get through this period. Our injured pitching will come back over the next few weeks. Next few weeks. Do we have any timetables? Kodai Senga, we've heard, is not going to be until after the All-Star break. Sean Manaea is a maybe, but are they going to rush him back at this point to complete the rehab assignment before the All-Star break? Maybe desperation says they might. It is unlikely the team's hitting with runners in scoring position will continue at this weak pace. Steve, it's continued at this weak pace for the first half of the season already, ever since opening day. Keep the faith. Steve Cohen is stronger than I am. Usually I am able to keep this right here optimistic mindset that Steve Cohen's trying to portray. But there's, again, nothing that I saw in this past series alone that has me thinking there's any silver linings of something this team can grab onto and say, hey, listen, let's build off of this. This is what we are doing well. Let's build off of it. No facet of this Mets team is playing well at the current moment. And it would be one thing if I was just concerned about the performance on the field because, okay, yeah, tough stretch, 162, ebbs and flows, however you want to call it. But the roster construction, and this is a David Stearns issue that he needs to fix from now till August 1st, the trade deadline. The roster construction of this team, they're going into the depths of their depth to try to stay afloat right now. The injuries are piling up. Yes, you're going to get some guys back on the pitching side, Jesse Winker as well. You already got Mark Vientos back for whatever that's worth. But there are significant holes on this roster, even when you get those guys back. And that's the biggest concern for me. You're going to need at least an acquisition on every level of this team. Starting pitching, a reliable bullpen arm, a high leverage reliable bullpen arm, and at least one bat. to try to mitigate this failing lineup right now. So that's 3 potentially mid to big trades you have to make, and that's asking a lot at the trade deadline. That's asking a lot. But if you are serious about contending for a World Series, that's what you need. That's the baseline. So as we talk and get closer to the trade deadline, that's going to be a big, big driving point of all of our conversations. Fresh series coming up. Mets versus Brewers, all night games. The pitching matchups, what can I say? I don't feel comfortable with any of them. I know it's Freddie Peralta, who's a pretty damn good pitcher over there in Milwaukee and has been for quite some time, versus Clay Holmes in game 1. Try to give Clay Holmes some run support. Again, this is a red-hot Brewers team. They are now chasing the Cubs, and they're right behind the Cubs for that NL Central crown. Winners of 8 of their last 10 games, like I mentioned before. Oh, and by the way, game 2, you've got Blake Tidwell going up against one of the best young pitchers in the game right now over his first few starts of his career in Jacob Misiorowski. And I didn't even check who's throwing in game 3 for the New York Mets. I don't even think the Mets know who's throwing in that game for them before the Subway Series starts up on Friday. A lot of things need to change about this team. A lot. And it's been tiring for me to come on these videos and start ranting about this team that was just a few short weeks ago in early June, one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball record-wise. They were. And to see the complete turnaround once mid-June rolled around, for lack of a better term, was just uninspiring. But I have to keep it objective and I have to call it like I see it when this team is performing like this. Just like I will not hesitate to give everybody in this organization their flowers when they are performing at a high level, like I did for the season, the entirety of the season leading up until this point. But we have to be objective. Yes, we can still hold on some hope that this is going to go away and this team is magically going to start performing again up to their expectations, but I just don't see it right now. I just don't see it right now. So, hope everybody enjoys the off day. I hope everybody enjoys this video. Hopefully, if you agree with any of the sentiments that I am expressing in this video surrounding this team, please let me know in the comments section. Like I said before, if you disagree with anything that I'm saying, please also let me know what you disagree about. Again, a lot of opinions to be had when this is the case for the New York Mets, and this is the situation with how bad it has been over the last 16 games. Smash those thumbs up buttons. Subscribe to the channel as always. It's your boy CP. Let's hope for better days ahead. See you all in a future video stream. Peace.